Ricky Rebel, you started in a boy band signed to Michael Jackson's label, touring with Britney Spears and Destiny's Child. Most people spend their life trying to get there. What did that world feel like when you were inside it? Were you becoming who you wanted to be or who the industry needed you to be?
I hung out with Michael at Neverland Ranch. The thing I felt about Michael was this humanness to him, a very kind spirit, very loving man. He just wants to have fun. He's childish. But at the end of the day, like there's something very spiritual about these people.
Big dreams don't come quietly.
They demand risk.
They demand fire. They demand transformation. Welcome to The Corporate Life, Billion-Dollar Conversations. Hosted by Hina Siddiqui, CEO and founder of Corporate Influence Media, creator of Capital Stage Credibility Positioning, 4-time Global Award winner, featured across more than 700 global outlets, and heard in 94 countries. Join us as we sit with tech CEOs, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs, and leading investors, the people building what's next. Here, success isn't a headline. It's a human story. The turning points, reinventions, failures, breakthroughs, and bold decisions that change everything. Because every life is a movie, and you're the star of yours.
Some people spend their whole life trying to get to this stage. Ricky was already there. Signed to Michael Jackson's label, touring with Britney Spears and Destiny's Child, living inside the world most people only dream about. But here is what nobody tells you about that world. The spotlight does not show you who you are, it shows you who they need you to be. And for Ricky, the moment the group ended was not the end of the story. It was the first scene of the real one. Because what he did next, alone without the label, without the machine behind him, required something the industry never gave him: the courage to become himself. He's worked alongside Michael Jackson, Madonna, Britney Spears. He has seen what fame does to people up close. And he will tell you the most vulnerable people he has ever met were the biggest stars in the world. This is Ricky Rebel, and this is his movie. Ricky Rebel, you started in a boy band signed to Michael Jackson's label, touring with Britney Spears and Destiny's Child. Most people spend their life trying to get there. What did that world feel like when you were inside it?
It was a lot of fun, Hannah. It was a lot of fun. It was also a lot of work. And I felt nervous a lot of times because we were performing in front of thousands and thousands of people, opening for Britney Spears on a massive tour bus, signed to Madonna's label. There was a lot of pressure. So the label execs would come to our shows and kind of nitpick what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of pressure. And I felt the pressure, but I did it anyway, right? They always say, like, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm really chasing that kind of high you get from experiencing things that you're afraid of, coming them. And I'm still on that journey now, that ride. Although I do have a lot more fun now when I perform and when I do things, because I'm really grateful for everything that I receive and everything that I'm giving, that I have the opportunity to give the gifts that I have and also receive from people. I'm much more grateful. So I'm having much more fun. And that's something that I wish I had been able to communicate to myself back then.
Yeah. And I love that when you said that act despite of fear, because a lot of people, like in different situations, we don't act because we are afraid of something. But when you are on such stages, like where thousands and thousands of people are just, looking at you, and they are having some kind of expectations, obviously they would like to be entertained. So, I mean, it's so difficult to get through that fear, but still do that anyways.
Yeah, you have to dare yourself to do it.
Yeah,
Get up
yeah.
on that stage, and every time I perform, I'm always nervous. There isn't a time that I'm not, and that just means that I care. I care about what I
Mm,
do.
yeah.
I care
You
about,
care about people.
yeah. If you didn't care about it, then you wouldn't get nervous.
Yes, yes. And when you don't care about, then it would not make sense. Like whatever comes across, it would not come as authentically.
Right, and that vulnerability is really cool too. It's
Yeah. It
what makes me
connects
hard.
audience to you.
Yeah, they can see and they like it. They like to see you be
Mm,
human.
yeah. At that stage, were you becoming who you wanted to be or who the industry needed you to be?
I pick option B.
Okay.
Yeah, who the industry wanted me to be. At that time, we were assigned to the record label and we were assigned producers. We worked with Ronnie Jerkins, 19-year-old at the time,
Mm-hmm.
prodigy, and he wrote and produced a lot of the whole record basically, and it was highly, highly R&B. Our first album was very R. It was like a pop R&B record, but more leaning towards R&B. And as much as I love R&B, that wasn't what I was, into as a kid. I was really into pop music, Madonna and Michael. And yes, they have elements of R&B in what they do, but they're not like super hardcore R&B. But yeah, after that record, we made a pop album, which is what I wanted to do. So then it started to kind of manifest that way. And then we had our biggest charting song called "Can I Get Your Number, Baby?" And we were opening for 98 Degrees and having a lot of success with that record.
Great. Awesome. So yeah, I'm curious about it that you are multi-talented, right? You do a lot of things. I was just going through what all you do, and I mean, it's
Thank you.
amazing. So have you always been like that or you learned the skills later on?
When I was a kid, I popped out dancing and doing gymnastics and things like that. I didn't even know what it was,
Mhm.
and I was already doing it. I was born really flexible. I was singing to Annie and to Grease. So I think I've always had talent,
Yeah.
gifts for the arts, and you do have to train a lot, though. You have to go to vocal classes, and I started very young in singing and dance classes, various forms of dance like ballet, jazz, contemporary. I worked with some of the greatest choreographers of all time.
Wow.
Growing up, I worked with Marguerite Derricks, who's you can Google her. She's an
Mhm.
incredibly accomplished choreographer. I worked with Debbie Allen, who taught Marguerite Derricks.
Yeah.
Uh, Debbie Allen put me in one of her ballets called Pepito's Story. She cast me in the lead role, and we performed the ballet at the Kennedy Center. And that was my first big, like, starring role that I'd ever
Okay.
done. And I was very nervous. And I was experiencing something that I had never experienced before. I was like, why am I shaking? Like, I didn't understand what that was. I'm like, why am I shaking right now? I'm not even on stage. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just thinking about me being on stage and doing those things. And I like started reading books about it. And I'm like, oh, I have something called anxiety.
Hmm.
I didn't even know what that was. Before that. And I started reading up on it and realizing like, oh, I'm fantasizing about things going wrong on stage in order for me to not think about the real things that I'm actually afraid of. It's like a mind warp.
Yeah.
It's like your mind is actually helping you. When your mind focuses on one thing going wrong, that is your mind actually helping you not really think about all of the other millions of things that could go wrong.
Yes.
So I as a young kid, as a
Yeah.
teenager, I didn't understand all these concepts. So I had to, read about it, and then I understood like, "Oh, this is myself helping myself." So
Mm.
that made me feel better about it and
Yeah.
able to, perform and do a 10-minute long solo in the Kennedy Center for Debbie Allen, right?
Yeah, and perhaps it helps you do your best work then, because if you're not anxious about it, then probably you would not be very concerned about doing your best work.
Yeah, it goes back to that concept we were just talking about, the fact that I
Yeah,
care,
yeah,
that I do care so much. But like I said, I'm not the same person anymore at
yeah.
all. I'm not
Mm.
like that as much at all anymore. As you get older, you realize that it's life is short and it's actually cool to fail because when you fail, you get stronger and you get better.
Absolutely.
It's like when you're going to the gym and you're lifting heavy weights, you're trying to get to muscle failure so that you
Mm.
can get stronger. So I kind of have that mentality now when I perform, but really when I perform now, I really try to think about how much fun am I having? Because when you're
Mm.
having fun, the audience is having fun. And that's like my superpower that I have,
Yeah.
my ability to connect with people
Mm.
and to have fun with them. I think that's what people really want from me as a human being. But that took 40 years plus of me understanding who I am and what's
Wow.
going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
It
the
is
heck
like
is going on up here? Yeah, 'cause there's a lot going on up here, even though, sometimes I appear not.
yeah. So, Ricky, when No Authority disbanded, what did that moment feel like? Because when you reach, to that level, and then suddenly things seem to feel like fall apart. How does that feel? What that moment made you feel?
Well, I can tell you what my mom felt. My mom was relieved. She was super
Mm.
happy. You
Okay,
know,
why?
we had to go to court to get they were not the label, but our management company was not paying us properly. So we had to go to court. I took them to court and I got paid. And so that was a big process to go through. So she was just grateful that it was over, that this whole thing was
Oh.
over. And I was devastated.
Mm. Yeah.
I wanted another shot, another album, especially working with Madonna and Maverick. Maverick wanted to make another album and they wanted to use their producers to make that album. But our management company at the time wanted to use their specific the producers,
Mm-hmm.
which he has great producers. He's the one who brought in Rodney, so he had great instincts. I had to give it to him for that. But at the same time, the label just couldn't come to terms with that. So they dropped us. And that was just for me, there were a lot of things that happened at that time. 9/11 happened. We're talking like a while back, like a long time ago, but it feels like yesterday when
Mm.
9/11 happened and I was with my ex-girlfriend upstairs and
Yeah.
we were living together and we turned on the TV and it was just like, we could not believe this. And the impact of 9/11 was like so hard on
Yeah.
everything, on all
That
industries.
was unfortunate, yes.
And then it was hard on the music industry. The music industry crumbled at that time because it was already having a hard time dealing with, Napster and people stealing music.
Hmm. Okay.
They didn't know how to handle that. They weren't prepared for that.
All right.
So they just stopped signing people. I would come, I would knock on a lot of doors and just no, just nothing.
Mm.
Because I've started producing my own music. I started writing and producing the sound that I really wanted to do. You talked about that before. I started making the music that I wanted to make. It was like
Mm-hmm.
a hybrid of like Madonna and Michael and Prince and later on in my career Bowie, but my version, things that really inspired me.
Yeah.
And just yeah, doors slammed in my face, so I had to deal with that. It was a very and then my girlfriend, we broke up, so it was just like
Mhm.
one thing after another. Yeah,
Yeah.
hard.
So when things like that happen, like when things just fall apart, as we do just talking about, we decide something about ourselves, right? And then things change for us because everything that is a hard thing right now for us, something happens for some reason, right? Everything happens for some reason. So, what did you
Correct.
decide about yourself in that moment? Because that was not an easy time, that was a tough one.
I decided to, produce myself. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna work with producers. I'm not gonna, spend all that money. I'm going to write and produce and learn how to write and produce myself and become
Okay.
a very self-sufficient artist. And that's exactly what I did. I took up Pro Tools. I learned Pro Tools. I had a tutor. I learned it quite quickly. I picked up the guitar. I learned it in about a month. I started writing. I started just really getting into the craft of what it meant to be a singer, songwriter, producer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started producing other people, other artists. And even back then, I remember people saying like, "You're a really good producer," and I did not know I had zero confidence in myself as a producer at that time because I had been working with Rodney, who wrote,
Yeah.
hit records for now he's written for Lady Gaga, Destiny's Child, Michael Jackson, you name it, but that's the quality that I was used to, and so I was, like, always, "Oh, this isn't right." But what changed my really flipped the script for me was when I got cast in the, My Chemical Romance music videos. Gerard Way is the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, and they called me in to, be featured in their music videos as a character called Show Pony, and when that happened, I got to go on set with Gerard, and I got to see an artist, like, really take control in real time, um, every aspect of the music video that he wanted. "Oh, I want this over here, I want this over there, I want the camera to come here to there, and make sure he's wearing this, and make sure that person does that, and make sure," and he was just, like, 100% in control,
Yeah.
and I was like, I could do that. I could be just like him," and Gerard loved me so much. He loves me. I love him too, and that's what gave me the confidence to finally, release my music under my own name, like, my own name that I came up with, Ricky Rebel, and I released a song called Get It On, and, the rest is Rebel history.
Yeah. Rebel history. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So Michael Jackson's label believed in you. Britney Spears, Destiny's Child believed in you. When you lost that, did you feel like the industry abandoned you, or did you abandon it first?
Well, like I said, I think the industry abandoned itself at that time. They were dropping people like crazy at that time,
Yeah.
and the industry kinda stopped. Um, yeah. So it's just a combination of, yeah, doors were slammed in my face, but also, you know, when a door slams, there's other doors that open for me. It's
Yeah.
like this,
Right.
you know, producer door started opening where I started getting work as a producer and a writer and, um, like I said, being featured on in My Chemical Romance and other people's projects and kind of realizing like, oh, there's a whole side of the industry that I can really tap into, not just
Yeah.
being an artist, but like a producer.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what's the hidden cost of success?
There are
Yeah.
many costs to success. Yes. Every waking moment is spent on your career. Okay.
Mm.
Basically,
Mm.
even when you're resting or, kind of chilling, you're still working. Like you're sitting down and you're kind of editing, you're creating content, you're texting the people, you're engaged with other people, like mapping out the next show, the next, for me, it's like the residency I have in Las Vegas currently. It's like promoting, you're constantly promoting.
Mm.
So the cost of it is like, I think that you're not always in the moment of your own life.
Mm.
And you have to work really hard to be in the moment. And I'm actually pretty good at it now. I'm actually
Okay.
really good at it. But like I sleep hard and I work hard.
Wow.
So that's something that you have to learn how to balance because if you don't learn how to balance that, you you look horrible. You
And
don't
you
look
feel horrible.
you don't look refreshed, you know?
Yeah.
You start to crumble because you're working too much, you're not sleeping properly. So that's a big cost to it is like your mind can take control of you and
Yeah.
make you feel like you have to push and push and push and compete,
Yeah. Yeah.
compare. And that is like an evil, demonic thing that you have to learn how to make friends with the dragon. You have to learn to make friends with it and,
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you're comparing again. That's interesting." Um, thank you for sharing, and I'm gonna have fun, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I'm here to have fun, and I get that there are other really hot, successful young people all around me, but I'm hot too and special too. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing though.
Yeah.
You know, their hotness and their greatness doesn't take away from your own. And that's
Absolutely.
something you learn at 40. You don't learn
Yeah.
that at 20.
Mm. Yeah.
You don't know that at 20. So there's another cost. It's just psychological costs, I think, happen.
Mm.
And then of course, a lot of people in the industry like can't handle a relationship at the same time. I have been in my relationship for 13 years now. Uh
Okay.
yeah. Um but I'm with someone who's very, very loving and very supportive and intelligent. And I had to kiss a lot of frogs and
Yeah.
to find the right person.
A lot of us do that.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta kiss a lot of frogs
Yeah.
before you find a nice fit. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be perfect, it just has to be a nice fit, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is cool. This is the vibe. This is a good vibe." Um, and I think a lot of people, creatives in this industry, just cannot handle relationships and success at the same time.
Mm.
They can't do it, so
Yeah.
that's a
Me
cost.
Yeah, I get it. So rebuilding as a solo artist is a different game. What did you have to unlearn?
I think I had to unlearn how to be less competitive and more collaborative. When I was first starting out, I was like, "Ah, push, push. I'm gonna be seen. I'm gonna" and I did a lot of things in my career. I don't know if we're gonna touch on them, but, like, where I had so much, like, eyeballs on me to the point where I was, like, the 4th most Googled Latino in the world.
Wow.
Because the choices that I had made in order to get attention, in order to stand out, in order to get my music heard, you
Mm.
have to go above and beyond to
Yeah.
create, something special for yourself, to make a name for yourself, and I did things. I did a lot of moves.
So I
Mm.
was just asking that. I mean, what did you have to unlearn to be here?
Oh, I had to learn how to stop competing and not trying to do what I just said, all of those things, like
Yeah.
the obsession with trying to be seen or be heard or to be
Yeah.
like to be the best or to be I don't know what the word is, like just even relevant. Like the search for relevancy is like so important with people. Like who cares like if you're relevant or not? Like make music. Like that's what you're here to do, make people
Yeah.
happy, sing and dance and get naked with people, have fun. Um That's what we're here to do, and that's something I had to learn, and I also had to learn to really bring in other artists now and to produce them and share the knowledge that I have and take care of them
Yeah.
the way that I wish I had been taken care of, and that's what I'm into now. I get people in my recording booth, and I know how to get the most beautiful performances out of people very quickly.
That's amazing.
Because I know what it's like to be in the room with a producer or a director who can't communicate with me.
Mm.
They don't know how to c Some of them just don't know how to communicate to the artist. It's really weird. And I do. I know how to talk to other artists because I am one. And so
Yes.
that's just a total mind shift for me.
That's interesting. So you have worked with some really big names like Michael Jackson, Madonna, Snoop Dogg. What's the one thing about how top artists carry themselves that most people never see? Because we all often think very different of these people. Like I remember that Michael Jackson was a big, big heartthrob, even in India. Like when I
Oh,
was
I
growing up, so yeah, so it was like he was a big, big one. So like what do you think? Like what these people carry about themselves?
Okay, so I've spent time with the greatest, stars that ever lived,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
There's Marilyn Monroe, and then there's
Okay.
Michael Jackson. I didn't spend time with
Mhm.
Marilyn, but I'm saying equivalency, like, Marilyn Monroe is like the biggest star on the planet. Michael is the biggest star, was the
Yes.
biggest star on the planet. Like, he didn't get bigger, and then Madonna was, like, underneath him, but she was, like, was the biggest star on the planet. And Britney at a time was, like, one of the biggest stars on the planet.
Mhm.
So I've spent time with those 3 at different times in my life, and what I notice about 1, 2, and 3 is vulnerability,
Okay.
period. These are, like, some of the most vulnerable people I've ever met. Britney's extremely honest, kind. Madonna was actually, well, when she was screaming at a producer, she wasn't being kind. I could hear her down the hall screaming. She's not a very always nice person. She can be very mean, but she's always authentic. And when we got to talk to her, she was super sweet, and what I noticed about her, she's vulnerable. She was, like,
Mm.
nervous. She was not nervous. She was, like, scared, like, "Who are you?" Like, probing, like, "What," "What's going," and her eyes. I'll never forget Madonna's eyes. They were, so sensitive
Yeah.
and watery and just, like, she's already crying. It
Yeah.
was, like, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm like, "You're so beautiful." Like, that's why you're
Mhm.
so beautiful. You're so vulnerable. And Michael, when I hung out with Michael at Neverland Ranch. The thing I felt about Michael was this humanness to him, a very kind spirit, very loving man,
Yeah.
who just wants to have fun. He's childish, um, but at the end of the day, like, there's something very spiritual about these people and the simplicity of the root of where their power comes from. It's not something that's loud. It's not something
Mhm.
that's hard, metallic. It's like a very soft, beautiful,
Natural.
gentle,
Yeah.
loving energy,
Yeah.
you know? And, I think that's the secret power to connect to, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Vulnerability. Yeah. I love that. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how vulnerable are you?
At times, I can be very vulnerable in, uh, in the in the bedroom. I could be very vulnerable.
Mhm.
I'm very strategic with my vulnerability, and behind the mic, I can be very vulnerable. Right now, I'm being pretty vulnerable. I'm being very honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't have any filters on, literally 0 filters.
Yeah.
So, um, I'm pretty vulnerable now. I mean, but there are times also when I, um, can seriously block my, emotions, and
Hmm.
I'm very proud of that, and I love that side of me. I'm so grateful that I have the ability to shut it off when I need to and
Yeah.
not be a
Yeah.
little crybaby and get the job done, or whatever it is. It's like,
Yeah.
I love it. I love being able to, you know, to do that. I don't wanna be somebody who's a slave to my emotions. I do have a temper. People know that about me, but I've been really good lately. I swear, hand on Bible, I've been really good at, like, dismantling it pretty clearly. So what happens now when I get angry with people, I call them up right away, and I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I don't like that. Can you change that for me? Because that
Mhm.
doesn't work for me. You ready? Can you please do
Yeah.
XYZ? Because when you did that, that hurt my feelings."
Yeah.
"Okay.
And that's an interesting thing to do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that." Click. Click. I'm
That's
like,
really
"Hey, you know what?
I
I
love
don't
that.
appreciate you did that, so can you please change that for me? Thank you
Mhm.
so much." As opposed to, "You, you mother,"
Yeah.
losing my losing my mind, you know? I don't do that anymore, so
Yeah. I really love that. It's very important to have some regulator set on our emotions. Otherwise, like our emotions can just, get us down in themselves.
we have to learn as artists, like, when
Okay.
to turn it
Yeah.
on and when to turn it off. The time to
Right.
be emotional is when you're behind this mic and when you're in
Mhm.
that room. When you're in that booth, let me have it. Give it I'm getting all, like, these chills in the back of my head right now. give it to me. Give it to
Mhm.
yourself, give it to the world, like, you have to, like,
Yeah,
feel. But when you're in the real world and you're dealing with contracts and agreements and business and, you know, societal propriety and making stuff flow a proper
mhm.
way, it's a different thing. You gotta
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that balance. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Get ready for the ultimate challenge, this or that. Choose fast, trust your instincts, and let's go.
So, Ricky, and now let's play a game. It's my favorite game, this or
Okay.
that. And I would give you
This
two
or that.
options. Yeah, this or that. And you just need to put like uh choose one option instinctively. You don't need to think hard. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I love games.
Yeah, me too. So my first question, boy band or solo? Which one was actually you?
Solo. Absolutely.
Mike, Michael Jackson's label or Madonna's instinct?
Madonna. Madonna's instinct and label. I like being signed to her label.
Okay. Fame that breaks you or obscurity that builds you?
Fame that builds you. Absolutely.
Industry's version of you or your own version?
Always your own. Always, always your own.
One hit that defines you or a catalog nobody knows?
A hit that defines you. A masterpiece.
The moment the group ended, worst day or best day?
Not my worst day, but definitely not my best day.
Hmm. Sky is falling or sky is rising. Where are you right now?
The sky is rising. Yes,
Love that.
absolutely.
Thousands screaming your name or one person crying at 3 a.m. listening to your music?
Thousands screaming my name.
Okay. Perfect. I love that. It was very honest. Thank you for playing that. Ricky Rebel, we believe that every life is a movie and you are the star of yours. And of course, your life is a glorious movie. So, what is the title of that?
Larger than life. You know, there's
Nice.
this there's an astrology book called The
Mm-hmm.
Secret Language of Birthdays. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm born the same day as Britney Spears. And on our day, December 2nd, called the day of larger than life. And that's how I feel like I live my life. I live it larger than life. Um, yeah. And it's strange that every Sagittarian I meet that we all have like the same kind of vibe, kind of like a bigger picture, more expansion, growth, and we love art, most of us. And so it's just I think that'd be a good title for my movie.
Great, great one. Ricky, if people want to follow the rest of your movie, how can they do that?
You all can follow me at Ricky Rebel Rocks on all social media platforms or go to rickyrebelrocks.com to get information on my performances. I currently have a residency in Vegas. Every month I'm going to be performing there, and I would love to see you there. And I also have a brand new song coming out. It's called Fabulous. It's so good. It's coming out tomorrow, this Friday. And by the time this comes out, I hope that we can play the song for you guys. I hope you like it.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was wonderful conversation. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for your time for making it today.
Amazing.
This is The Corporate Life. More stories, more insight, more truth. Until the next episode, stay curious. Don't forget to subscribe.